I'm gonna.
Here we go.
I'm gonna mute myself so y'all don't have to listen to me eat pizza. You still have to watch, though. Sorry.
I was going to say, I think we might make more money doing that. More viewers, more subscriptions.
Anything for more subscriptions, right?
Watch this redhead eat pizza live.
Dude, I am retitling this episode.
That's the episode.
That's going to be the YouTube title, and we're getting hits.
Good night, everybody.
I guarantee it.
If there's one thing I've learned about YouTube videos, it's that you take the one screenshot that might be considered like the sexiest moment, and then make that the thumbnail, and then you get like 2 or 3 times more hits. Doesn't matter if that has anything to do with the actual video.
Oh yeah, and Jessica, we need you to unmute as you're taking the bite so that we can get that screenshot.
Any idea how hard it is to like consciously avoid eating pizza in a sensual manner when you're like, I never think of eating pizza as being a sexy thing, but when you guys are talking about it, I'm like, oh crap, that's too sexy. No.
I imagine that's what's like being a girl, like finding out that everything you do is considered sensual.
My life was ruined when I figured out that I couldn't eat ice cream in public.
That's awful. I'm sorry.
It was bad.
At the same time,
bloomer, so I could eat ice cream in public until I was like 17. But after that, it became
impossible.
Yeah.
I've just gone with the philosophy of why not just embrace my sexiness and just
see. Yeah, like
guys
for some reason I don't have that problem, and I don't.
So we changed formats to a talk show. I see.
Right.
And so we're going to continue this week. Unfortunately, Elise is traveling and can't be with us, and Chris is also busy, and it's also Andrew's birthday.
Oh, Jared, life is so good for us right now.
It's also Andrew's what?
Oh no, it's his birthday.
Oh, I thought you said beard. I thought that was a joke about his beard.
I have been growing it out.
It's looking good.
Happy birthday.
So,
thank you.
We're going to forge on ahead despite the fact that the party is crippled and likely to fail.
That was going to happen no matter how many were in the party.
See, the way I saw it, it was doomed for failure anyway, so why not forge on ahead?
So what you're saying is you've given us a chance to refresh all of our potions and items, right?
That's definitely what I heard.
Last I heard, y'all hadn't even slept yet. It was close to 4 a.m. in the morning, and y'all had met with Sarah Rosevity's bodyguard, who works for the Collector, and he was advising y'all to deliver the feed that was stolen from the museum to the Rook in order to have a way to infiltrate into the Rook's lair and rescue Kaitlyn. And it had mostly been agreed that that was probably the way that the team was going to go, but no details of that plan had been hashed out. So that y'all are still there at the Midnight Oil with Mr. Incoma. Nelson Incoma is Sarah Rosevity's bodyguard. He's a very large, formidable black man. And he's been hashing out. He's been willing to hash out any details that you need. He's even offered to come on the sort of infiltration mission himself and assist in beating up Black Court vampires.
Does he have infiltrating skills? Because
he has punching skills, and we don't really need infiltrating skills because they expect me to be there.
It's true. I mean, he offered to come in on an infiltration. I just assumed he would have infiltrating skills. But as a large, imposing black man, it seems like he would not have infiltration skills.
Maybe he does.
That's true. I don't know. I'm making assumptions.
You could ask him.
He has mostly punching
He's right here.
skills, and that's what he's offering to bring to the table. And he thinks that Sela's the one who can get y'all inside.
That's true. And even if he doesn't have great infiltration skills, I can assist with infiltrating him. I'm really interested in his punching skills. That seems
true.
That's a valuable asset as far as I'm concerned. Now, I remember that Sela did have some questions about the plan, which I emailed to our lovely GM 2 weeks ago, the last time we played. And I don't remember what those questions were, but I remember they were really important at the time. I was hoping you could refresh my memory on what that was.
All right, 1 second.
I feel like I sent you a small novel.
Nah, it wasn't that much. Sela wanted to know exactly how the insurance policy of the fake artifact worked.
Yep.
And she wanted to know if it was going to be immediately noticeable that it was a fake to the Rook. And then Jessica also had questions about why Nelson was thinking the way that he was. Or what the Rook was thinking to hire Sela.
Right. Because wait, does Sela know this? Like, Andrew has said that the artifact was stolen, and Nkoma was very perturbed by that idea, right?
Right.
And so, if the artifact was stolen, presumably, because Nkoma thinks that the Rook has it in his possession, the real one.
Right.
So if the Rook has the artifact in his possession, then why on earth would he hire Sela to steal it from the museum? Steal the fake one, which he must know is a fake, right? If he has the real one.
So are you asking that in character to Nelson?
I'm pretty sure we have the real one. I mean, I did a pretty good lore check on it.
Let's start with Sela's questions about the insurance policy, which is what we think we have, or what he thinks we have. Okay, so I guess I'll start. So, Nkoma, tell me a little bit more about how this insurance policy works, because you've mentioned it's an insurance policy, but in what way and what exactly does it do?
The collector did not want the Rook to get a hold of the seed artifact.
That makes sense.
Although things are normally safe in our vault, the Rook is a very cunning individual, and so we attempted to outsmart him by creating a fake that he would then take and consider the original, and then we decided that the best way to hide the original would be to put it somewhere that the Rook would not know or look for. And so that was taken care of, or at least we thought, by Mr. Rhodes here. Unfortunately, that part of the plan seems to have failed.
You put it in a completely unsecured location where you thought, hopefully no one will get it, right? Just running that by me real quick.
You're asking what we did or what he did?
I mean, you put it in the possession of an obvious madman who then put it in a completely unsecured location, right?
Admittedly, Mr. Rhodes is a little less under the radar than we would have preferred, but the hope was that nobody would be looking toward him.
That's fair.
And I'm not quite sure how he came to the attention of the Black Court.
All eyes turn to Kit.
It's a good question.
I haven't been involved with any gang activity that I know of.
Gang activity? Oh, that's right. You still don't believe in magic.
I'm getting closer.
Okay.
So out of character, do you remember, Andrew?
No. I think it.
You
We
had
were
a
hiding it
run-
at the homeless place, so we had a run in with homeless people that.
Before
Kaitlyn
that
was
even
part of?
happened, y'all had this incident where Kaitlyn was trying to track down where the homeless people were disappearing to, and she went over to Glenwood Cemetery, and you ran over someone who was trying to attack her, who happened to be a Black Court vampire.
I don't think I or Kit remember that. I think this night's been pretty strange as it's been.
Yeah. That was
Mere hours
last
ago. I
night.
assume.
2 nights ago. That was last night or 2. That was a long time ago.
So wait, Celia wants you to run this back real quick. There were homeless people disappearing, right? And that mattered because it doesn't matter. And
Kaitlyn was my friend. She was just asking for help.
okay, and then you went to a cemetery, obviously a place where hobos disappear. And I mean, I might have started at a truck stop or something, but a cemetery, okay. And then at this cemetery, you assaulted a Black Court vampire with your vehicle.
I didn't know they were a Black Court vampire. I just knew that they were trouble. They were trying to hurt us. So it was time to leave, and we left, and they stood in the way.
And then how did that play out? Because I feel like
That's a good question.
right
How
now.
did that play out? I don't remember.
I mean, you got away, so it was a win, right?
Exactly.
Oh, but the Black
Is that when the seed disappeared, when we got back from that?
It was
From our
when you
supply
woke up.
closet?
No, it was still there that evening, and that was when you put it into the supply closet, and then
Okay.
it was next morning that it was gone.
So wait. When exactly did the seed disappear from your possession? This morning?
Well, it's morning now, so it would have been yesterday morning.
And when did Celia get the commission to steal the seed artifact from the museum? This afternoon,
Yesterday
I
morning.
believe.
Same time.
Same time. Mm.
Well, it's the same time that we received an invitation to the museum.
So something tells me, in coma, that the Rook knew that he was being double-crossed, and he's trying to hedge his bets. He wants all of the potentially real seed artifacts in his possession, which tells me two things. One, you have a mole in your organization, and two, let's go back to, is he going to know which one's real and which one's fake, and what does the fake one do? How is it insurance? You still haven't covered that.
It's insurance in the way that you just described. We're able to prevent him from moving forward with his plans until he's hedged his bets and made sure he had both seeds, because he would hate to waste his opportunity on the fake seed. And that was the intention in the beginning, that if it were taken, the fake one would be taken. And if it weren't, it would be very obvious that there's a seed in the possession of the collector, and he would be too concerned at the possibility that perhaps the collector had the actual real seed to move forward with his plans.
So you think that the fake seed is a good enough fake so that the Rook and Key here, my good friend Gideon, might not be able to tell the difference between the two. It's that good of a fake.
The seed was created by the collector himself to be a fake, to be a duplicate. That is its magical purpose, to be
give off
an
the
imitation.
aura of, okay. Does it do anything cool and handy? Like, I don't know, explode? Like,
That would be convenient.
yeah.
Can we talk about the Bog Lord in the room for a minute?
Yeah, let's do that.
Go ahead.
No, wait. Let's go back to does it explode, and then let's talk about the bog lord.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
I can't rule out that it doesn't. The collector did not tell me that it does. I have received no instructions. It's my understanding that were there to be other uses for it, it would be a way that it would tip off itself as a fake. And so therefore the thing that it does is be a fake. But the collector's very crafty, and I should hope that he has a backup plan.
And I should hope that he would tell you how to make it blow up should that opportunity arise. Because doesn't he want to take out the rook? Is that a thing that he wants to do, or not really? He just wants to stop the rook.
We just don't want the rook to move forward at this time. We don't.
And why is that? What do you think the seed artifact does?
It's a magical magnifying device.
Magical magnifying glass?
Device.
I'm gonna need more information than that. So I think you were a little bit magical, and maybe I'm a little bit magical. So, like, if I were holding the real seed, what would it do?
It's used in ritual magic to magnify the input into a greater output. So if you were casting a spell and it required so much magical energy, it would require not nearly that much as an input. So for example, most of the time, you might have to kill, have a human sacrifice in order to cast a curse on someone. With this device, you could use that same human sacrifice and cast a curse on an entire city of people.
I can see how that'd be challenging or interesting, depending on how you cast your magic and what you want to do with it. Yeah, so about the Bog Lord. Take it away, Paul.
Paul, that's you.
Yeah, so what does... I don't believe in coincidences so much. What does all this have to do with the current problem with Peter Harbog and all the other stuff going on here? I mean, obviously, this has got to be connected.
Nelson sort of cocks his head a little bit and looks at you, and he doesn't look confused. He looks like you just cracked a joke or something.
Right. Yeah.
And he holds back a little bit. It looks like he's trying not to laugh.
Wait.
I'm sorry. Is something funny about all this?
I think I got this one. The contract dictates that if anybody tries to move against anybody else and like overthrow the different sectors or whatever, like for example, if the Black Court vampires tried to take out the collector or whatever was happening over with Pigman, with Ricky and the Black Court vampires, that seems to have been a move that was happening. Black Court seems to be moving, right? In a way that is taking over stuff. They're colonizing other boroughs, right? That's bad. That's definitely in violation of the contract. And if anybody violates the contract, that's the only thing keeping the peace. If anybody violates the contract, then the Bog Lords get everything. Like, it reverts all back to them.
Nelson strikes you as the type of person who doesn't ever dismiss a possibility out of hand. There's been several things that have come up here, and he's like, well, it's possible. Maybe it's a trait of him as a bodyguard that he's got to always be looking for possible threats and other things. And so he looks like, he nods his head and sort of makes this expression as Sila's putting forth this theory. And then he says, it's not my understanding that the Rook hopes to use this device to take over the other territories, at least not yet. The reason I'm amused is that I think the person asking me this question is probably the one best to answer it. Why is it that you need Kaitlyn back?
Why do we need Kaitlyn back? See what
Kaitlyn's my friend, and she's been kidnapped.
Right.
This isn't some weirdo LARP magic thing that gang war that we're dealing with here. This is just a person who's in trouble. We should help her out.
She's just a human, right? A human that's in trouble.
Well,
I care about those people. I mean, I do. I like humans. We are the world. Sela starts breaking into a little bit of that and sniffs her Skittles.
Well, I do take the opportunity to remind you that the reason why I got involved in this at all is because the group, the people that I've gotten involved with are obviously important to what's going on. That if Kaitlyn and the others don't survive, that the Bog Lords will reclaim Housden, which would be a personal tragedy for me.
And Mr. Ancoma puts sort of a hand in gesturing what Gideon's expressing. He says, he says, Kaitlyn Rogers is no mere human. And we see it best. It's in all of our best interest to make sure that she's returned safely.
We should come some kind of MacGuffin or something. Like, what is Kaitlyn Rogers, Mr. Ancoma?
I've just been this is the directive I've been given, that I need to make sure she's returned safely. I'm just a bodyguard.
I saw her from a distance. She smelled vaguely of hobo. That's all I got. She seemed nice.
She's a kind person. She's one of the last good people in the world.
I'm sure she's great. I'm not saying she's not a nice person. She'd be a wonderful person. Are we going to kill 6 other people or a whole city's worth of other people to save one kind person?
Well,
wait. Who are we killing aside from Black Courts?
Yeah, they're not really people. Black Court aren't people per se.
They were people.
Yeah, like in the sense that a corpse was a person.
That's really harsh.
Before they were a corpse, they were a person.
It's true, and in corpse-like fashion, I would really just like to put the Black Court in the ground.
Yeah.
Where they belong.
Well, you can't do that because that would also violate the contract.
It's true. Well, I mean,
Wait, are you guys part of a gang too?
as long as I'm not, I mean,
Fourth side represent.
as long as I'm not moving on their territory, right? I mean, I'm just.
That's right. Their territory could be empty. That doesn't have anything to do with anything.
I mean, I don't care.
Right? Yeah, so we are residents of the 4th Ward. And so we care about 4th Ward stuff. And Black Court are... So think about, did you ever see West Side Story? It's kind of like the Sharks and the Jets.
I understand gang tribal.
We're not really a gang, though. They're like the Sharks and the Jets. And they're just like coming for us. And we're just trying not to get eaten.
Okay, well, let's make sure Kaitlyn's not eaten either.
She may have probably already been eaten if she's just a human. But, I mean, if she's a normal person, she's so sweet. She's so sweet.
Mr. Incopa says she should be all right as long as the Rook does not still have the other seed artifact.
Well, even if he does, he thinks he might not because we have the other one, right? And you say he can't tell the difference, and we know he knows there's 2.
That's what I am saying. Yes, as long as we have that one, Kaitlyn should still be alive.
Let's fast forward to because I really want to know more about what the seed artifact can do. We go, and by we I mean me, because that's what you mean. I go. Report back to the person who hired me. Hey, I'm a good little thief. Look what I got for you. It's this seed artifact that you really, really wanted that I definitely don't want to give to you now because I watched you like dismantle people. But okay, I'm going to do it, right? And you're going to pay me a lot of stuff. I give him the other thing. And then what happens? Now we've just given him ultimate power, or now I need to duck because there's going to be a big explosion, or what is the plan after I give him the thing? Because
Well,
the
if
whole
the
thing
seed's
is
the ransom for Kaitlyn, then as you're handing the seed over, I will, at least me and whoever else wants to go, will sneak down and they should be keeping her close by if they're going to turn her over once we give them the seed. So we could just look around and get her exfiltrated from the premises.
I get that, but that's the part where we kill a whole city's worth of people for one person. Because if we're just trading what sounds like unlimited power to possibly the most evil entity in the world right now for Kaitlyn, then we may have Kaitlyn. And
I thought we were giving a fake woman.
But if he already has, then he has both, right? Because he has the real one that he took from you.
I thought you were handing the one that you have there in your jacket, the one you showed me that looks like that.
Oh, yes. Yes. I mean, obviously, we're handing him this seed, the fake seed that I stole from the museum.
I'm glad that we're on the same page now.
Oh, God. Yes, we're doing that. The narrator's mind says we were not doing that. Because I'm aware that to any discerning eye that's as an aside, Sela knows that while Kit doesn't believe in magic, everybody else at the table does, and everybody else knows that this is a giant March of Dimes container because it's not that great. And I could make it better, but not collector level better. Like, we're gonna have to trade a deal.
You emphasize your point. We're bringing this seed, and you kind of bang it on the table, and it makes a nice hollow plastic sound.
Yes. This one,
the change is still inside.
That I stole from the museum, she says, as it jingles. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that should be fine.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know what the Rook is gonna sell artifacts for, whatever, but it can't be that dangerous.
Okay, look, it's time. It's time to rip off the Band-Aid.
The seed artifact will be a lot less of a threat if we get Kaitlyn out in exchange. And Kaitlyn, I've been given orders that under no circumstances am I to return without her, and so she is apparently the greater threat at the moment.
So wait, time out. I understand that Kaitlyn is intimately tied to the seed object in a way that none of us understand, or that you are certainly not going to tell us. But you said you're not to return, theoretically, to the collector without Kaitlyn, and something tells me that Kit is not going to be down with that.
No, he's mad.
So I got you, Kit the Rhodes.
I mean, I personally am not to return to the collector unless Kaitlyn has been rescued from the Rook.
Okay, but you could vouch for the fact that she's no longer in the Rook's possession, and that would cover it, because...
Right, I'm not bringing Kaitlyn back to the collector.
No, you are not.
I don't like that at all. Can I make some kind of roll? Like an empathy or rapport or something roll? I'm reading you roll.
Well, you've had a chance to read him. Do you want to get some aspects of his personality, or are you just trying to read that one statement?
I want all of it. I want as much as I can get out of it. All right,
do your rolls. Tell me which one you want to do first.
Okay, hold on. I forgot things, so I need to look myself up again. La, 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 la. And then there should also be a fudge dice roller, because I hated the one that's in the chat. I love how the fudge dice roller that I like to use was made by a veterinarian. Like, why, dude? But I really appreciate it. Thank you. Whoever
Shout out to
Jeffrey A. Mills, Dr. Jeff 98.
Good job, buddy.
Good job. All right. What rolls am I making? I don't know what the skills are called, and I have a few that might be applicable.
It's empathy on both.
Okay.
Or yep, it's empathy on both.
Or
But I need to know which role you're doing first, so I can roll his. He's got different skills on his.
okay, so there's one to roll like my general. I've observed him for 10 minutes, and I want to know things about him, right?
Yeah.
And then another to roll like, what do you mean by that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's say we're gonna do our what do you mean by that roll first, right? Okay, so that's gonna be, what do I get to add to that? That is a 5 total.
You got a +5?
Yep. Wait. No, I got a +4. I have a +3.
Oh yeah, I forgot your empathy was so high. So you think there's something he's holding back when he's saying that maybe the collector doesn't just want to see Kaitlyn free, but has some other purpose.
I mean, that doesn't tell me anything I didn't already know, but okay.
Well, you're what you know.
I didn't catch any of that.
Yeah. Try that again.
Okay. You are fairly certain that it doesn't stop there. Before you had suspicions, you were reading that you are absolutely certain he's holding something back, and he's doing it because he knows y'all won't be particularly pleased with it.
Okay. So she's going to keep that to herself for just a moment while she tries to get a better read on him in general.
All right.
That's much better. That's a 6.
Okay. You're going to get 2 aspects about him. He's got you've been talking to him long enough that he's several times he's let out that deep basso laugh.
When he biggened in front of me and like crushed the table, I saw that.
Yeah, you saw that as well. And you've been trying to figure out exactly how he did that. He's got one aspect is his deep basso laugh, and he's got this great hearty sense of humor. You think in general, if he weren't working for such a nasty person, he's probably a pretty decent guy. On the other side, you've been trying to figure out where that kind of power came from, and you were like watching his jacket and whatnot, and you figured out he's also carrying a Desert Eagle handgun.
Wait, carrying a gun makes him powerful? Because I feel like that's a problem.
No, it's just you were trying to.
Carries a gun too.
You were just trying. You didn't succeed in figuring out what kind of power he has. This is just talking, but in his movements and his stuff around, you've gotten a glimpse of his concealed Desert Eagle. It's a real big gun.
I know what a Desert Eagle is. So it's a real big gun, but that doesn't explain how he got to be suddenly much larger. Like,
nope, it doesn't explain that. But those are 2 aspects. He's got aspect 1, deep basso laugh, and aspect 2, trusty Desert Eagle. These are aspects of his character that you picked up on your read.
Cool. Good to know that he's got a backup plan there. All right.
And so he's really interested now at this point what the plan is. Is Sela gonna deliver the seed and then maybe unlock a back door? Are they gonna is she gonna create a distraction that they're gonna use to help infiltrate? He explains that the cemetery where he's pretty sure the Rook is keeping Kaitlyn is fairly well protected, despite the fact that it's just a cemetery. And so there'll definitely need to be something to help them get in, unless somebody knows the back way in.
So,
is this the same cemetery from a couple days ago?
It is.
So I would say this is Kit and Gideon's department. What do your elf eyes see, Gideon?
That's a very good question. I may have to spend some time thinking about that, or looking into that, as it were.
Sela is probably not going to go case a cemetery, but I can, if that's something that needs doing. I feel like we are probably going to want to move faster than that, though.
Nelson's pretty insistent that it's faster than 36 hours.
Why?
Explain.
He gets really quiet.
Sela leans in and presses him just a bit. So, what happens after 36 hours? Just,
Give me an investigation check.
Yep.
Can I roll 2?
Can I wait first before I roll anything? As Sela's asking him this, and it's gonna be deceit, she's implying that she's not all in. Like, in reality, yeah, Sela's gonna do this thing because she's a decent person. But he really is pressing her to know whether or not she's gonna infiltrate. He wants to know the plan. And she's implying that if you don't tell me this, I am out and your way into the Rook is gone. So I want to use deceit to make that implication so that I can create an aspect that I can tag during my investigation on that. Does that make sense?
And that's a great plan, but roll your investigation first.
I'm trying to use the rules, man.
You're doing a good job. You just don't know what this investigation check is for yet.
Okay, that's fair. Okay. Well, that is okay. +2.
Okay, you put 2 and 2 together. That's about the same timeline as the guy that came in and was like, in 48 hours, we're going to take over Houston. None of you leave this place. It about lines up.
So let's go back.
You know what would be great is if I could have about 12 hours to sleep and cast at least 3 ritual spells to really get a handle on what's going on.
What's the matter with you? Kaitlyn's kidnapped now.
I'm just gonna throw that out there.
Okay, but Kit.
We should be going to the graveyard now.
The Kit. I know you feel that way, but my friend Gideon, first off, obviously needs his beauty rest, and secondly,
Whoa.
I'm saying he's very pretty.
That's right. I am very pretty.
Yes. And
Is that what she was saying?
He is good about this planning thing, and sometimes when you let him take his time, things turn out a lot better. And this big punchy man just told us that Kaitlyn is most likely completely safe as long as we're in the possession of the other seed artifact, which she jangles against the table again. Like, so we have this thing, and this is Kaitlyn's safeguard. And as long as we have it, which we know we're going to keep it, then we can give Gideon 12 hours to get things together that might help us.
Hours.
I know, but you know what?
Okay.
When was the last time you had a nap, buddy? Because I feel like you're running on a lot of lattes.
Or Slurpee, as the case may be.
Yeah.
Now,
That's already out of my system.
if we're attacking vampires, and I assume it's
Can I let me just interrupt you for just half a second.
Oh, it's time to do this.
Nelson, the adults here need to talk. We could do this with or without you. I need you to go sit over there.
for once I'm in complete agreement.
Sela winks at Nkoma. Just like, go with it, dude. Okay.
So Nelson gets real quiet, and it doesn't look like he's going to move for a second. And then he kind of glances at each person at the table, and then he gets up without a word, and he goes over to a table across the room. He gets there's not a lot of space here. In fact, most of the tables are taken, so he ends up sort of standing with his hands clasped, very, very, conspicuously next to the door. It's very obvious he's used to standing around guarding people, and now it looks like he's guarding the door.
And Kit takes a look for any listening devices he may have left behind.
All right, give me an investigation. No, there's no listening devices
Okay.
at the table.
Okay. So, Gideon, we can give you 12 hours, but we have to do something in the meantime since we don't know what we're going to go into.
Listen,
we can sleep after she's back.
Yeah, here's the thing. Like, for the next 12 hours, why don't you work your sources and find out her location, and that will help me immensely in what I'm doing.
Phelan nods enthusiastically.
Well, I haven't really dealt with the Black Court gang before. Where do they typically... Is it just the graveyard? Do we need to go check that out?
Really not a gang.
Well, okay, fine. If you want to think of them as a gang, whatever.
Wait, time out. Celia and Gideon have known each other a really long time, right?
Yeah.
Do we speak any languages that maybe Kit doesn't speak?
I don't think Gideon speaks any languages other than English, oddly enough.
So while you guys are chatting, Celia just texts Gideon. And she's like, how important is it that Kit lives?
I thought you had a high empathy here.
I mean, I'm very empathetic, but it's real important because, he's kind of acting like it doesn't matter because he's willing to send you literally to your death. And I think maybe that's because you annoy him, which I understand. But, if you need to live, then you need to understand some things that you're not prepared to understand just yet, but that we could perhaps convince you of in a short period of time. And maybe you might need a nap after that.
Look, I'm not saying that I don't think that the Black Court are dangerous. This is definitely dangerous territory. But
It was like
we have a bigger problem here amongst us. The Collector is a backstabber. Whatever plan we're coming up with, we have to keep an eye on Nelson.
Agreed.
He's not going to tell us the whole truth, and if he's working for the Collector, that's just bad news for us.
Oh, yeah, no, I think we're totally on the same page there. I don't trust Nelson any further than I can throw him, which is only about 40 or 50 yards.
So, look, I'm willing to concede that I have seen...
It's probably about 20 yards.
I don't know what magic he has up his sleeve. Maybe it's 40 or 50 yards.
It could be 40 or 50 yards. You never know.
So look,
No,
I've seen some
probably
really
about 20.
weird,
I'm giving you the magic.
weird things tonight. And I am completely aware that I don't know everything that's going on. So tell me what I can do to help you get in to get Kaitlyn back as quickly as possible.
Well, have you read Dracula?
Okay, so are you telling me that these are real vampires?
Yes.
Yes.
I have
We
a book
both
for you.
say yes
Like-
in unison.
Unequivocally, yes.
Like suck your blood,
Yes.
just rub them with garlic
Yes.
or stick them in the heart with a stake.
Precisely.
Okay.
As a matter of
Buffy
fact, that
makes
is
it look pretty
precisely the type
so-
of vampire we're talking about.
Because there are several kinds, but we'll get into that later.
Several kinds?
I like to think that Gideon takes a sip from his flask while
Yeah.
that's precisely it.
Yeah, that's precisely what we're talking about.
While y'all are considering that notion, one thing you might want to consider is the time of day that you guys move on your plan.
Well,
Yeah.
that's what Kit was just going to suggest is so we go in at dawn or the middle of the day.
Yes.
They're hurt by sunlight, right?
Absolutely.
Which is not now. We need to wait some time. You may
It's
notice.
dawn right now.
No, it's like 3 a.m. right now.
No, it's about 5 now. You can see the.
Kit's right, because you listened to the GM tell us what time it was like
I
2
wasn't
weeks ago.
here for that.
Is it summer or is it winter?
Oh, it's around Halloween. We know it's late.
Oh.
No,
That's
it's
worse for us.
early summer. I'm not sure why you think it's around Halloween. It's early summer.
Early.
Okay, it's early summer.
So light goes for late. That's good.
Yeah, so like listen, we spend the rest of the day, we spend about 6 hours sleeping.
Yep.
We get up, we do our thing. Yep. About 5 o'clock we go in and they'll all be asleep.
Yep.
It'll be easy.
Yep.
I'll get you a paintball gun with some garlic powder or something.
Ooh, okay. That
Time
would work.
prepare. Yeah.
Okay. But
I
we're going to
know
sneak
a
in
guy.
while he was creating a distraction with the seed. So are they living in this graveyard then?
I wouldn't say living, but I mean they're residing in the graveyard.
Unliving.
Yeah, like almost certainly they're residing in the graveyard.
So what can we do to check out the mausoleum or whatever the buildings are there that they might be hiding her in? Because I mean, graveyards typically just grass and stone.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that. It's a place we're going in the future, and I kind of can see the future. So,
no, what am I going to say right now?
No, he really can. Like he was like, yeah, no, that's
something stupid.
something stupid.
Here,
I walked into that one. Maybe you can see the future.
Would you like to know how you die?
What?
Say
Would you
no.
like to know how you die? I can tell you. I
Say
can see the
no.
future.
No, I don't want to know.
Oh,
Feel like
okay.
it's super uncomfortable right now.
I mean, obviously I know. So
I mean,
can
I'm
tell
sure
you.
it's one of the collector's goons eventually catches up with me anyway. So,
Well, maybe. I mean, listen. Your heart stops beating.
yeah,
Yeah.
That's a signature sign of death. Like,
Yes.
that's supposed to convince me that that's
Yes.
Okay, wait. First off, Kit's not that smart.
Who says Kit's not that smart?
Thela.
He's been around it. He knows.
Kit's not smart enough to hear the words "your heart stops beating and you're dead," is what you're telling me?
Well, and not to
Because it's a pretty obvious statement.
It's a heart attack. I mean, I don't think that Kit would jump to like obviously anything that kills you stops your heart. Like,
Well, I mean, statistically speaking,
Is your heart beating when you're alive and not when you're dead? That's all I'm going for. I'm not saying Kit's being super smart about anything, but I think he's smart enough to understand basic biology.
see, Sela doubts
Gotta
that.
give him more credit than that.
You guys are such a well-functioning machine.
Yeah.
right?
Yep. Total faith in each other. That's what we got.
See, what's great about knowing the future is that everyone automatically believes everything you tell them. Because
I believe you because anyone whose heart's not beating is dead.
yeah, no, it's true.
Of course it's true. It's the most blanket statement anyone has ever made.
Absolutely.
Fortune tellers do better jobs of tricking people into knowing that they know the future.
Maybe we need something else.
Yeah, but they're fakes. I'm real.
It's
They're-
true.
It's called cold reading, and it's really more of a parlor trick than what I do.
It's true.
Which is just make stupid statements.
No, I've actually seen your death, and your heart stops beating.
Anyone who's dead, his heart stops beating.
Well, I mean, eventually. That's not necessarily the cause of death
True.
for everyone.
Wait, you're saying the cause of my death is my heart stops beating?
Yes.
It's just definitely a factor.
Of course, it's definitely a factor. What are we talking about right now?
Okay, wait.
Stuck in a graveyard. We're talking about vampires and magic, and you are giving me this complete crap about seeing the future.
You're the one that asked, okay? Listen, I
Sela like puts her hand on Gideon's knee and is like, "I got this." All right.
Okay.
So, Kit, I need you to believe in magic. Do you?
Look, I
It's
am.
been weird.
Yes, weird things have been going on that are
Real
unexplainable. It's totally possible that magic is a part of that. Yes, and
Okay.
that vampires are real. You know what? It's early, late, whatever. Yes, for whatever weird reason, this makes sense.
Okay, so I need you to believe not only that you're going up against some extremely dangerous, very powerful vampires, but also that several of the people around you at this moment are maybe not what they seem, including that maybe people have powers that could help you immediately. People like Gideon, who he really can see the future. And in Coma,
Then why is he being so stupid with your heart stops beating?
he likes to mess with people just like you like to mess with people. It's his sense of humor. He's kind of an old soul. And Coma, I think, also has some powers that could be very handy to us in our endeavor to
He
rescue.
also probably has a mild concussion. If he's the standard of danger, then this is blowing things a little out of proportion.
I feel like we're going to need all the help we can get. And if a giant person with a mild concussion is willing to help, I'm going to take his punching power. Thank you very much.
Well, Travis right there can punch, but I don't mind having him come
you
along.
noticed
We just
something?
absolutely have to watch for his double cross.
I agree. Yes. Have you noticed anything else about Travis's punching? Just check in. Maybe a smell of barbecue in the air, a little bacony. Anything weird? Fire related weird?
It's at this point that you guys notice that Travis is gone.
Oh, he's not with us at all?
Nope. You
I
thought
thought
he
he
was.
was like NPC'd this session. Nope, he's gone.
You thought he was there, but
Hey, where's Travis?
Damn NPC teenagers.
Hold on. He
Playing
went back to Ben
Fortnite.
Ricky. Yeah, I see it. He went back to Ben Ricky.
Ah, he would.
Wait, you guys called those vampires too? Is Travis a vampire?
No.
No, he
Are
just
there
works for
good
vampires.
vampires?
No, there's no good vampires.
Okay.
Well, I mean, maybe the Jade Court, maybe? No, they're not good vampires. I don't know.
At this point, you might notice that CeeLo looks a lot like a vampire, Kit. Like a lot like a vampire.
Wait, are you a vampire?
No. But thank you.
I'm so confused.
That's awfully flattering.
All right.
Call me.
Well, if Travis went back to that club of vampires, we should probably stop him before he gets back there. So, Gideon, do you need to take a nap for whatever future powers you have while I go get Travis?
Let's not split the party.
Kit
Maybe-
wants to know if it's like D&D where you have to take a long rest before you can cast spells again.
And the answer is yes. It's
A long
exactly
rest, yeah, exactly. A long rest is good, but let's not do it while you do something else. Let's
Yes.
do it while you like rest in my home, which is now open to you.
and kick ass.
Yeah, like it's a nice place. I've got a guy. He's not necessarily a manservant, but he's definitely like a man employee.
He is a butler.
Yeah.
Okay, because I thought you were talking about something completely different.
Yeah, no,
No.
not
fine.
that.
Just
I
fine.
saw you.
I just
No.
misunderstood there for a
So,
second.
like, Kit, did you
Yeah,
ever?
he has a library, and in the library there's a copy of Bram Stoker's Dracula, and
Oh yeah, you could.
and he knows that when you're anxious for action, the first thing you want to do is curl up in a nook and read.
But doesn't he
Also-
also have a movie theater in his private estate?
I'm not just gonna sit still. I get that you need to take a break, but I don't need to take a break.
You know,
I might have to roll for the movie theater, but I'm pretty sure I have one.
Yeah.
I also probably have a library
I think you need to roll for your manservant.
You think I do? All right, let's see.
I was writing down on my note pages. Gideon
I don't know.
has a
Give it to him, but with the aspect of special man friend, because I'm pretty sure that's what you said first.
Can we call that? Is that a resources role? Because
No.
he's a resource.
Yeah, that would be a resources role.
His
Okay,
name
good.
is now Manfred, though. It has to.
No,
Manfred?
Manfred, yes.
4DF, right? Oh
Yeah.
no.
It's you have to write out all the roll, so it's /roll. Yeah, but not in this chat. In
the other
Google
chat.
Hangouts chat.
Or better yet, use the fudge dice roller because the one in the chat sucks.
Okay. I see. I thought you got tired of my fudge dice roller so you started using the one on the fudge.
No. I tried it briefly, but your fudge dice roller is way better. The one by the vet. Good.
But it's hosted by a doctor, so I figured it'd be good.
Yep, it is.
What is he? DVM? Oh, that's a vet. That's
Yeah, I told you, like a veterinarian. But you know what? It's Dr. Jeff. I like his fudge dice roller.
okay. That is a +4 on resource roll.
Right?
This is that +4 butlers.
Yeah.
Okay,
no.
so-
See, that counts
so
as
Manfred's-
doesn't it?
That is great. Manfred's not your butler, but he is your personal assistant. He doesn't live at the place, but he shows up and does a lot of work for you.
But that doesn't mean he doesn't have a butler. It just means that Manfred is not his butler. That's what I heard.
I mean, Manfred could be his butler if he wants to spend a fate point and guide that up another.
No.
He's one notch short at the moment. So,
What about the movie theater? How's that looking?
I think personal assistant / financial advisor. He handles all my shell corporations and trust funds.
Yeah, basically, yeah. But since he works for you, he also does whatever you want. So
Exactly. Within
He's well
reason.
compensated.
yeah, he has self-respect. He's not some sniveling person, but he understands that he's mostly works at your pleasure. So
And he did have to change his name to Manfred.
Right.
he did.
I mean,
all of Gideon only employs people who's it was part of the contract.
Yeah.
I have a great book from the bucket list about finding Matthew too biblical. So
does he have an idea of something else that he's going to do since he's apparently not sleeping?
Sorry, you cut out. Are you asking me?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're back to this. So,
Before you answer, Thela asks, "Hey, have you ever played D&D or
Yes.
any RPG?"
yes.
I'm a big fan.
I'm not as concerned about games right now as much as I'm concerned about Travis walking into a bunch of vampires.
Yeah. So
Can we, if we're not going to all, can't just wait for 12 hours while Travis goes where he's going. He can't have gotten far.
no,
Let's just go get him until Nelson will meet him back here in 12 hours with the plan, and then
do you know why
we
Travis
can booger off.
going to a bunch of vampires, as you call it? Travis is
No.
a teenager, and he has a terrible teenage job. Basically, Travis is going to go work at Sonic because he has a shift scheduled. Travis is a magical teenager, so he has a different job than maybe you had when you were a teenager. I don't know what you did. It doesn't matter. But most human teenagers work at McDonald's or something. I don't know. Travis is doing the magic teenager equivalent of that. He provides security for Baron Ricky, and he's going to Baron Ricky because Baron Ricky is his boss. And that's all that's happening. He's not in danger. He's just going to go work a shift at Sonic or something. You don't need to go accompany him to his job. That's weird, man.
I thought he was going to help us.
I'm sure he is. But he, in his infinite teenage wisdom, flaked out or anticipated that Gideon would probably need a nap. So I don't think you need to go see him at Baron Ricky's place. I think
Are,
he's probably
are
just
Gideon's naps like just common magical knowledge? Everyone knew this except for me.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Travis needs naps too, I think. To recharge whatever. I don't really know how it works. It's not how mine works.
So you're just saying that Travis just doesn't care and he's gone.
Yeah, I would notice that Travis thinks you don't care about him. You did drop him off at a
That was before I knew about vampires.
Well, I think he told you they were vampires. You just didn't believe him.
Look, up until a few minutes ago, I didn't know vampires were real, other than the people who call themselves vampires and like.
And those people
dress
are
up.
stupid. I'm with you on that. Yes, yes. I get it. It's okay. You know what? It's been a long night. I feel like we should all go back to Gideon's, and everybody should just have a smoothie, not a Slurpee, and like maybe take a nap, watch a movie, read a book, do some Tai Chi. I don't know, man. Whatever you got to do to like get yourself in a good place so that we can rescue Kaitlyn. That you know better than anybody that you got to be at the top of your game, and you're not going to be at the top of your game running on fumes and caffeine.
You know, you're more likely to have a heart attack if you're as tired.
So, what have y'all reached a time that you're planning on going ahead and making your move to the cemetery?
4 or 5 p.m. is what I'm shooting for.
Yeah,
No, it's got to be closer to noon.
1,600 hours on the dot.
No, there's far less shadows at noon.
No. Shadows? What is wrong with you? We don't care about shadows.
If there's a light and dark problem.
Listen, we're looking for the golden hour. The sun isn't quite down.
Yeah.
The acoustics are just right. It's
Why on
filming.
earth would we like
It's a
pit ourselves
thing.
like it's the first thing you don't do. This is the first thing people do in horror movies before they die is they like wait until right before dark, and you've got 20 minutes to get to something.
Right before dark. It's not going to
We've
be
got
dark
at least
until
3 hours.
9:30. Yeah.
I promise you that if we're in the lair of a Black Court vampire for longer than 3 hours, it's over anyway.
Yep.
Yeah, you know?
Yeah. He's got a point. Like, if we're there for longer than 30 minutes, I'm real worried. So, and it's early summer. It's not going to be dark till 9:30. It's Houston, Texas. Come on.
Right. Yeah.
Fine.
4 o'clock is like
Wow.
practically high noon. It's actually better than high noon. UV is higher.
Yeah, and it's not nearly as hot. I mean, actually, it's hotter. There you go.
Oh,
It's even
yeah.
hotter.
Definitely, like, I think 2 p.m. is the hottest time of the day, but that's too early.
Yeah,
Surely that
usually a
helps
little
get
later.
them pretty nasty sunburn.
Yeah, it's not
That's all I'm
good.
saying.
All
4
right,
p.m. is
so
good.
4 p.m. So that gives you guys roughly just a little over 11 hours from where
Yep.
you're at.
So we're gonna hop in the Impala.
Yeah.
It's heading
No,
to his truck.
the Lincoln. It's not an Impala. It's a Lincoln.
Okay, hop in the Lincoln.
It's a nice car.
It is.
I maintain it.
You don't. Manfred does, but that's okay.
Well, you know.
It is maintained.
Yeah, I mean, the important part is that it's well taken care of.
So while y'all are having this little discussion, Sila's going to pop over to Incoma and let him in on the rough timeline. And can I invite him to the house, or is that a no-no? I can invite him to my house instead. I switch so often.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really want him to know where my house is.
You
So,
don't move as
wait.
much as I do.
I mean, what Incoma's fine with just meeting y'all, you know, basically at the time to affect the plan, but his first reaction is, well, what's the plan?
So Sila explains that Gideon would like to take some time to do some stuff and consult.
The spirits.
Yeah. Gideon would like to throw the bones and figure out what's going on. and that's going to take a little bit of time. And also, now is not the best time to assault vampires because the sun's just coming up, so they might still have some power. Everybody's tired. We all need a nap. Let's just do that. And that might give you time to recover from your concussion, which I hear you have. She glances at Kit and then glances back at Encoma. And, everybody can heal up and get all recharged, and we'll see you graveyard 4 o'clock.
4 p.m. on the dot.
Yeah.
And so he nods and heads out of the Midnight Oil.
She follows him.
Okay. So is that what she's doing for the next 11 hours?
Nope. She's just going to catch him outside the door out of earshot of the rest of the party.
Okay.
So how about just real quick, Kit leans over to Gideon and is like, look, I think we definitely need some more help, and there's stuff that I could do. I know a guy in the city planning office. I can go and at least check for any construction or any materials that have been shipped in and out of there. Give us an idea of what the interior of spaces might have been constructed in the graveyard.
You know what, Kit? That actually sounds like it's a useful idea. Just don't do anything rash. Remember, we're going in at 4 p.m. But you're right. The more information we have, the better off we're going to be.
All right. So if you want to tell me where your house is, I'll catch back up with you guys.
I draw you a map.
I take said map. But without graphics, I just have to sit here and wonder why I can't get Key Flask.
All right. So Encoma is going to just, it's real basic black sedan.
Mm-hmm.
And he's unlocking his driver's side door.
Sela appears like she just slips quickly in between the door and Encoma before he gets in the car. She leans up to him and is like, he said something. He was like, what did he say? I don't need to bring Kaitlyn back. Something about bringing Kaitlyn. What did he say exactly? I forget.
He said he had no intention of bringing Kaitlyn back to the collector.
Right. But I knew that he was not being completely truthful at that point, right?
Mm-hmm.
So she leans in and she's like, so where exactly will you be taking Kaitlyn, and what exactly will you be doing with her?
All right. Give me another empathy roll.
That's a 4.
All right. So he just kind of he looks at you. Actually, give me a stealth check too.
That is a +6.
Okay, so you caught him by surprise. He wasn't expecting you to be there, and that's the first thing that you noticed, that you're kind of pleased with yourself. And so he wasn't prepared for this sudden interrogation, and he just sort of that sort of stone face that he sometimes puts on when he's not talking. It's very scary, statuesque look that he gets when he just shuts down is what he does. He gives you no reply, but he just shuts down and doesn't say anything.
What does that smell like to me?
It's impossible to read. It's like looking at a statue.
Right. So does that? Can I make a lore check? Does it remind me of something? Does it smell like anything magically weird?
No, he's just got a great poker face.
Really great.
Of course, the deal with a poker face is there's something that he's
Hiding.
keeping to his chest. Yeah.
Yeah. What is my role to come? I'm gonna try rapport. I'm gonna say, look. You work for the collector. Sometimes I work for the collector. Sometimes I work for a lot of people who maybe aren't always in alignment with like what I might feel personally. And I understand professional consideration being what it is. Like a job's a job. You do what you do, and you're obviously very good at what you do, and I'm very good at what I do. I get that. And I don't have any particular love for Kaitlyn either. I don't know her at all. I will keep it to myself, but I want to know what is going to happen. And I know you know something that you're not telling me.
All right. So give me your rapport roll. Man, dice are cold for me tonight.
Oh, they're hot for me. So that's going to be a +3, but I'm going to tag Manic Pixie Dream Girl. I don't know. Oh, wait, that only gives me mild consequences. I don't have anything that can actually increase that unless I've pissed him off.
Manic Pixie Dream Girl for that, but you don't need to. You rolled a 3 and he rolled a 1.
Well, I haven't upset him, so Manic Pixie Dream Girl doesn't actually help me anyway.
Yeah, but it's part of your charm, so you're using it as part of your charm. I can see that.
Like I want to establish that connection with him, and I'm kind of relying on my supernatural nature to make that connection.
So, oh, I see. Either way, you've got it. He kind of tries to match the same tone with you of what is going on there of wanting to be sociable and appropriate and I mean sociable and I'm just doing a job.
A decent person, yeah.
And he explains that as far as he knows, there's that the deal is that Kaitlyn needs to be rescued before the 40. She can make it to the.
You're breaking up real bad.
Gonna be overrun.
I heard Kaitlyn needs to gonna be overrun.
Kaitlyn needs an opportunity to be present when the collector talks to Peter Harbog.
Okay.
When the collector, and so the collector has plans to talk with Peter Harbog.
That's part of what you discovered, yeah.
And that would be happening roughly in 36 hours, yeah?
Well, yeah, roughly before that timeline that Peter Harbog goes down, which would be about 36 hours.
So
he kind of mentions that he's got information that Peter Harbog is amassing some sort of plan from Discovery Green.
Discovery Green?
Discovery Green, yeah.
Okay. And you have a timeline? I know you have one. What is it?
Let's see. It goes to the 48-hour time is at 2:38 in the morning. In 2 more days, 36 hours. So.
Yeah. So that's the timeline for Peter Harbog. But what's the timeline for the collector and his meeting with Harbog?
He wants to get there as soon before that as he can.
At Discovery Green.
At Discovery Green. He's going to go confront Peter Harbog.
Okay.
Give me a lore check.
Yep. Fair. +2.
You're just aware that Discovery Green is a park somewhere in Houston.
Okay, but I know people who will know more about that. Do I get the sense that if I push him, I can get a little more information about why he needs her there, or do I feel like I've already kind of exhausted that?
You've kind of primed that pump. You've gotten a lot out of him, and you feel like if you push any more, you might set off alarms, or he might realize how much he's given up.
Right. I don't want to overplay my hand, but.
So he gets in his car and he drives off, and he says, he'll see you at 4.
Yep. It's a date, she says, and she winks.
and he laughs.
She laughs too. And then she goes back inside and rejoins Gideon and Kit.
All right. So y'all have 11 hours between now and when things get exciting.
Let's go take a nap.
Yeah.
What is it? We'll start with Gideon. Gideon, what is it that you do during this time?
About how long would you say it takes me to recharge my items?
They'll be recharged by 4 p.m.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then I definitely spent some time working on some of these rituals. For instance, oh, that's a good. Here we go. Actually, that's one exchange. I thought certainly I had. Well, maybe not. Okay. I spent some time looking at my options.
Can Philo help in any way?
So you're going to spend. Do you spend any time sleeping?
Yes, definitely. I mean, whatever it takes to get.
Is that the first thing that you do?
Sure.
So you're going to sleep, and then
you're going to
spend time looking into the future, basically.
Right. Doing my rituals to look into the future and prepare.
Okay. Sela, do you have a plan of what you're going to do?
In the car ride to Gideon's house, Sela asks Gideon if there's anything she can do to help him prepare in this time. If there is anything she can do, she does that first while he's sleeping, because Sela needs, I suspect, less sleep than he does.
If she helps, it would be like giving you a better lessening the amount of time that you need. It would basically be an exchange of the amount of sleep you can get, really.
If I can help him in any way, like any material way, either to make it so he gets more sleep or to make it so that he can do more things, like that's what she wants to do. So they discuss it on the drive back to the house so that she has a game plan.
Yeah, as soon as I get home, I'm going to have a conversation with Manfred about getting us some of the obvious Black Court kind of killing items. Strings of garlic and, the real obvious things.
Steaks, holy water.
Yeah, holy water steaks, that kind of thing. So that we can go in there, maybe like leather collars or something, so that we can go in there a little prepared for what we're going to have to fight.
All right, so Gideon, you know that the closer you get to the events that you're looking into, the harder it is to see them. It gets real shaky kind of the closer things get away. It takes a lot more preparation. So
there we go. Yeah. All right, I've got the spell now. Okay. I found the spell. But you're right.
So there's the option of doing the spell first and then sleeping, and the spell might actually be easier. It's just that you'll be more exhausted and less concentration to be able to pull it off. Or going the other way, and it's a harder spell when you're well rested. In which case, it might be, if you go that route, it might make sense to have Sela run around and gather some of the more arcane elements that are useful for the ritual, and thus give you that bonus on being able to see. Does that make sense?
Yeah, let's go ahead and try the ritual before I sleep, just because I don't think I'm going to be, Gideon's not used to relying on other people.
Okay. So
Thanks, friend.
Go ahead and respond in character to her request then.
Gideon, let me help you.
The best thing you can do would be to help Manfred gather some of these items that we need. I don't think there's a whole lot that you can do for me on the predictive end of this.
Is this because of a girl? Did you just tell me to go shopping?
It is definitely not because you were a girl, and I don't think I told you to go shopping so much as I told you to go do what you do best.
I am really good at the 5-finger discount.
Yes, precisely.
All right. So Sela, is that what you're going to be doing in this time?
Sure. I mean,
are you going to be sleeping at all?
She'll take a little bit of a nap. I need to have a question for you about how Fae work in this situation. Is it like D&D? We don't need as much sleep as everybody else?
Fae don't. You're not Fae, so.
Yeah. All right. So, yeah, I'm probably.
You need sleep like any other human.
Okay. I'll take a nap, but
So like a few hours.
I will help. You know what? I got up a lot later than everybody else did today because I'm used to being pretty nocturnal.
Uh-huh.
I staked out the museum in the afternoon. And then so I probably rolled out of bed around, 11 or noon. That'd be pretty typical for me. And so she's probably not as tired as people who got up at the butt crack of dawn. She's going to help Manfred first, and then she'll take a nap.
Okay. But I'm more interested in how long that nap's going to be.
4 or 5 hours.
All right.
However long. I mean, I don't know how long. What is this list of stuff we got to get?
Oh, like the usual vampire killing things. Some paintball guns, garlic to put in paintballs, garlic, cloves of garlic, steaks.
So I'm hearing.
I'm hearing garlic. I'm hearing a lot of grocery shopping.
I'm hearing grocery shopping, maybe
Silver.
a swing by the nearest Catholic church,
Right.
and like a sports and outdoors store, kind of like Academy, Dick's Sporting Goods, something like that. That's what I hear.
If you could stop by the Vatican and get something specifically blessed by the Pope, it might help.
I would love to, but I think maybe I don't have quite enough time for that. So I'm sure there's a large diocese in Houston, though. I can definitely swing by there.
Now that's a good question. I would figure there'd be a large enclave of Southern Baptists, but are they really equipped for fighting?
Trust me, there's definitely Catholics in Houston.
Okay.
At this point, the Southern Baptist Convention might be the undead. So. With the president emeritus.
Are you gonna spend any time casing the cemetery?
I'm not.
Okay.
No, Kit said he was doing that. I said I could case a cemetery, but why? And then no one said anything, so I left and talked to Encoma and got much better information.
Okay. Kit, what are you going to be doing?
Oh, so many things. So Kit's basically going to head to his contact first to try and catch this city planner or contact to know what's on record with the graveyard.
Then so you're gonna go straight to the city planning office?
Yeah, or wherever he would find the said contact, the coffee stand outside the city planning office or what have you. But yeah, he's gonna go make contact first.
Okay. And then is he just gonna work from there?
Yeah, so from there, he has no idea what he's really doing. But once he's got the documents, he's okay, so he gets this plan. And it's probably a dumb plan, but let's have some fun with it. So Kit looks up on a computer a satellite image of the graveyard, and kind of cases the area, memorizes the surrounding area map, noting where a couple of nearby highways might be, and then he's looking at the satellite image specifically because he's looking for an abandoned lot or some kind of large place where he might be able to park his truck nearby without getting close enough to have any line of sight of the graveyard. He doesn't have any interest in being spotted or getting too close to anyone who might be security for the graveyard, but he wants to put a getaway vehicle nearby. So he's looking for that spot. And then he's going to get his best imitation vampire hunting gear together.
Okay.
There.
And he does, and sleep is for the dead. He's not going to sleep at all.
Well, so he figures, and I haven't looked at a map recently to know exactly how long it'll be, but if he's going to put his truck near the graveyard, his plan to sleep is for the 3 to 4 hours of public transit he's got to take to get back to Gideon's. So a lot of interrupted naps, but he's going to close his eyes on a bus, on the tram or whatever that's going to get him within a close walk. So he's also looking up, I guess, the bus schedule.
Okay.
So I just did the math. CeeLo's probably going to get more rest than we indicated because we decided it was a grocery store, a sports center, and maybe a large Catholic church, right? She thinks she can do all that in like 3 hours.
Oh, easily.
With or without Manfred's help. And in that 3 hours, still have time to maybe knock over a jewelry store because she's very interested in getting a extremely gaudy, very beautiful diamond cross.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay.
So she needs some exquisite jewelry
Now,
like that, which she
are we going with Bram Stoker's Dracula, or are we leaning more towards Salem's Lot? Because in Salem's Lot, it's like it's not so much the cross; it's the symbol of your belief. So if you're not really a believer, the cross doesn't do you a whole lot of good. But in Bram Stoker's Dracula, obviously they're Catholic, so it's the symbol that's more important than the belief.
I feel like this is definitely a Bram Stoker situation.
No, that's fair. Yeah.
It's Black Court vampires. They're like vampires straight out of that. Or we could go Wes Craven. You know.
All right.
Well, and here's the thing: Bram Stoker's Dracula was literally written to help the world fight the Black Court, and it was very, very effective. Apparently, so effective that the Black Court are now nearly extinct.
So, how is Kit going to get to his car, or did he drive? I forget. Did he drive?
We drove
his
it
car
to the Midnight Oil, so that's when he took it
All
from
right. So Kit hops into his truck and he heads over to the city planning office, and he gets there. The streets are pretty clear, so he gets there and it's before 6 a.m, and nobody shows up for government work before 8 o'clock. And so he ends up standing around for a couple hours.
Till at least 8:15.
Yeah, till at least 8:15.
That's breakfast
Gideon,
or coffee time.
and he eats some breakfast and coffee. Noted. Gideon and Sela are driving back to his house. Is that correct? And then Manfred's going to meet them there.
Yes.
Gideon, when you kind of pull into your house and you step out of your car, give me an alertness check.
Can I help? I'm real paranoid, and I've been there before.
No, you don't have line of sight.
Let's call that that's actually a 0.
Okay. In that case, give me an athletics check.
Uh-oh. That's actually. Oh, hey, no, that's a +2.
Okay, so you step out of your car and your foot catches on a big heavy object and you start to fall, but you catch yourself. You manage not to face plant for a second time. And by a second time, I mean you look down and there's this, you have no idea why it's here in your garage. There is a piece of white marble and it's broken at one end, and then at the rest of it, it's kind of got angular and smooth, like it's been broken off or something.
Can I? I've got a spell for this specifically. Can I take it into my abode and maybe take a look at? Yeah.
Okay.
And then,
so you're going to use some of the time you set aside for looking into the future and use it to look into this object's past.
Yeah, that seems like a worthwhile use of my time.
Okay. And we'll get back to that. Sela, you go shopping with Manfred. Tell me about this.
Well, as I'm leaving, I ask Gideon, "Hey, what do you know about Discovery Green?"
That's a good question. What do I know about Discovery Green?
Just think
Give me
about
a lore check.
A lore check. Okay. That is a +6. So apparently I know a lot about Discovery Green, which makes sense because I'm a knowledgeable kind of guy.
Sure.
Manfred mumbles to himself.
All right. What do you know about Discovery Green? Hold on.
I know more. Here's the question: do I know more than Google?
All right. So one thing that immediately pops to your mind, Gideon, is Discovery Green is obviously in the 5th Ward, so it's under the domain of the Black. You know anything that you can find off of Google about it? Which, let me see what Google tells me, because it's been a while since. Come on. You know that it's a park. It's near downtown, and that puts it really close to the location of the seat. I don't know whether you mentioned that to her or not. It's not particularly huge. It's only about 12 acres. And it was basically kind of created. There's like, it's sort of like an environmental conservancy type thing. It has a real has a real environmental message. about its original making. And there's also several like museums and stuff that are kind of underneath it as well.
Okay.
And there's also some, there's people that live on it and other things. Yeah.
But he doesn't know anything about like who might inhabit that area or any special like magical things about that area.
Well, it's in the 5th Ward, so it's under the domain of, Peter Harbog would be the guy in charge of that area. He knows that that's not Peter Harbog's like headquarters. Other than that, there's not, he imagines there's some energy there. It's pretty close to the seat, but that's about it.
Okay. So obviously I relay all of this to you.
Okay. You're about to go check out that marble thing. I just say that, I got the impression that maybe the collector and Harbog were going to have a meeting there. And I don't know what that could be about. That's above my pay grade. But that's what I found out.
Interesting. Why would the collector be...
Something about Kaitlyn.
I wonder if Kaitlyn is more important to all this than...
I don't know, dude. She just smelled like hobos to me, but you seem to think she really matters.
Well, I mean, obviously, but...
Is she just a person? Just a human?
As far as I know.
They seem to think she's something very different. Much more than that. I don't think she knows.
She's clearly very important, but I don't think she's anything more important than any of the rest of you.
They think if she's just a human, she's a very, very important human. But there's something about her that they care about a lot. It's real weird.
I'll have to look into this.
So then she goes shopping.
How do you and Manfred get along?
Great.
You guys already know each other?
Yeah,
Pretty
and
well.
I tease him all the time, mercilessly.
How does he respond to the teasing most times? Is it something he enjoys it? Y'all have a great rapport, or is it the way you keep him in his place, since you technically have no real power over him?
I think that it makes him a little uncomfortable because he's a very proper and a bit stuffy as a person. He's, a financial advisor, and he is intrigued because the whole manic pixie dream girl thing. But I think that it makes him a little uncomfortable, so he's like willing to go with it, but he doesn't always know necessarily how to respond. And Sela lives for that, making him slightly uncomfortable, but she never pisses him off. Like, she likes Manfred. It's all in good fun. She doesn't ever want to intentionally embarrass him, certainly not in front of other people. She really likes him. She thinks he's cool because she knows that Gideon trusts him, and any friend of Gideon is a friend of mine.
Okay. Do you take him along when you go into the diocese trying to look for things? So at that point, you guys complete your shopping.
No, I mean, she takes him to the diocese. She doesn't take him to the part where she acquires.
Sure, but I'm curious about the church, whether he's there.
Yeah, he can be there as far as she cares if he wants to be. She's just helping.
Okay, so he's actually Catholic, and so that kind of helps out. He knows some people there at the diocese, and he agrees to go with you and gets you a meeting with we'll say with the bishop.
Awesome.
Uh,
Oh yeah, because
and
it's time.
give me a rapport roll to see how well you get along with the bishop.
Oh, that's a great roll. That's a 5 because I rolled a 4. That is a legendary rapport with the bishop.
So it's actually really impressive. You'd almost think you are Catholic. You do all you like kiss the ring. You do all sorts of you know all the little ritual motions. They don't mean anything to you, but it's like casting a spell as far as you're concerned.
Right.
You know, and you cast all these spells and say all the right liturgy and get along pretty famously with the bishop. And so then when you ask for a favor, which is what?
What is the favor we're asking? We want stuff to fight vampires, but I'm not telling him that.
You might be able to. I mean, being a bishop, he might be in the know, if you will.
So, yeah.
Are you looking for holy water? Are you looking for
holy water, like blessed objects?
Special holy object from the church?
Yes,
if he's got like a cannon that's blessed, maybe.
Right. We're looking for anything he can get us to help combat the very real forces of evil in this world. Like, not just in a vague sense. Like an exorcism kind of, real bad.
Not even the mundane forces of evil, but like
the supernatural. We're going to do spiritual battle.
Okay, give me an empathy roll.
I need to put on the armor of God, sir.
Empathy roll and a lore roll, and then tell me what you get for each.
All right. That empathy roll is a +3. I didn't do that great. The lore roll, that's better. Lore roll is going to be a +4.
Okay. All right. While you're talking with him and y'all are getting along famously, you're now best of friends, even though you've just met. But in talking to him, you pick up pretty quick that he's not actually in the know. He's ignorant of this sort of side of reality, and so you don't approach him in a direct way. But you do know of the diocese having a weapon that used to be historically used to fight the Black Court that's here in Houston, and it's just like part of the collection here in the church. And so you're wanting the favor of being able to borrow this object, and that's the sort of the request that you're making.
I go for it.
And so what kind of role would this be?
And Manfred's helping, right? Because like Manfred is like devout.
He is devout.
Since I'm not being honest about exactly what I need it for, because it can't be like, I need this thing to fight the Black Court vampires. Can it be a deception role about education and the historical significance of the Catholic Church in Houston?
Yeah, it's a deceit role. Tell me about what it is, the story that you spend to.
Well, tell me what the object is.
I'm working on that.
Okay, because I made this lore roll and I'm getting this object, right?
So it depends on this deceit roll, but yeah. Right.
So one of the things that we do, Father, is we like to go to hospitals with sick children and really just bring God and his power to these kids and make it real to them, and just sometimes it helps. Obviously, there's a lot of prayer and the chanting and singing and stuff, the ritual that is so important and near and dear to the Catholic Church. All of that is very important, but sometimes it helps to for them to see the glory of the Catholic Church in the works, and the artifacts, because that's a very important part of it as well. That's one of the ways the Catholic Church does its thing. It's impressive, so we really want to borrow this thingamajig, which has a name that I totally know, and take it and just show it off, in a very respectful fashion to these kids and their parents, as part of an ongoing series of education and outreach. The historical significance of this object, all of the art history behind it, the metallurgy and gemology associated with it, and then of course its spiritual significance, not just to each individual Catholic, but to the diocese.
All right. So what's your deceit roll?
It better be good. It's 5.
All right.
But Manfred is like backing me up, man. I'm gonna tag Manfred's face.
No, the bishop is incredibly charmed by you, and so normally he wouldn't give in to this sort of sudden request or anything, but he's so charmed that he takes you out of his office, and you guys go down through several doors, and you come around, and you reach a door that he has to he goes through, and he has to unlock it, and he unlocks that door out of this key ring, and he searches for a moment to find the right key, and he goes in there.
All of that, just by the way, he sees it all. He knows
and
exactly.
He goes in, and you guys have come out the back end of what's sort of like a little church museum there, and there's several holy relics and other things here, and one of them is it's a dagger, but it's a dagger that's got a basically pearl handle and a wooden blade, which is very odd. And it was carried by a missionary, Catholic missionary, who went way early on, before there was even a city of Houston, that came over, and that people were the Spanish were setting up missions in the various areas, and he was an itinerant priest. And the lore is he starts talking on about the lore of this item, and that the reason he had a wooden blade was he needed something that he could use to cut various things for a utility purpose, but he didn't want something that he could hurt a person with, and because he was a pacifist. That it was a wooden blade so that it could hurt Black Court vampires, and this guy was actually a Black Court vampire hunter.
She listens rapt attention. That is something that I think the kids would really identify with. I mean, with so much violence today in all those video games, like a priest who was a pacifist and used this, that was a tool to aid humanity, but couldn't hurt other people. I mean, I think, and it looks like a weapon, how kids are. I think that is something that they would really think was very cool. They'd be very impressed by.
So he agrees with you, and he helps put it in this case that's made, so it's going to be safe for transport.
Absolutely.
And Manfred vouches for the fact that he'll be there to help guard you, and that you won't be suddenly jumped in the middle of the street or something. And y'all are able to set out. Kit, give me your contacts roll for
Is there anything else in that museum that I might want?
Oh, is there anything else in the Catholic Museum that you might want?
There's a finger bone of Saint whoever.
No, I want a really ornate cross or crucifix.
There's totally one of those in there.
I mean, it has to be small enough and pretty, like jewelry. If there's not, then I'll go to a jewelry store. I'm okay with that. I'm not above it.
It's roughly yay big. There's a real jeweled encrusted cross.
And how secure is it?
It is behind some, it's in a little glass thing that's set into the wall.
Father, I feel like the impact of this artifact, which I am eternally grateful for your lending to me, would be just amplified if I could display it beside this beautiful example of, art in the form of this. Is it a cross or a crucifix? It's Catholic. It's probably a crucifix. This stunning bejeweled crucifix.
He thinks that's a marvelous joke because, of course, this crucifix is worth several $1 million, and whereas the other object, has a lot of historical value, and he's charmed enough with you to let that out, but he's not about to just let someone he just met walk off with this extremely valuable piece.
Well, a girl's got to try. It is gorgeous. Thank you so much for letting me see your collection, and we'll be back with this in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail.
All right. So, Kit, you've got a contacts roll coming in?
Yep. So contacts is a skill, right?
Yes. Yep.
Yep. Because I don't have it on my list. But
no, you don't.
I would like to, tag the aspect of I know a guy.
Sure. So that's just spend a fate point, and you know this guy.
Okay. May have this fate point over here in my spend pile.
So tell me about your friend at the city planning office.
Oh. Let's name him Steve. He's kind of your average Joe, someone who studied architecture and then kind of got into city planning, just kind of fell into it. Wouldn't say he's disenchanted with his job, but he's not living the dream either.
He definitely works for the government, so he had dreams, but then he gave up on them.
Yeah. He thought he was going to make a difference, and then he got kind of a bit jaded. He's got some friends at the city office that he really respects because they're not as jaded. But he's just kind of your casual guy, tall, dark hair. I don't know. What else do you want? He knows everything about graveyards.
Literally everything there is to know about graveyards and the zoning of graveyards and the.
So you walk up, and I mean you sort of like sit there ready to ambush the people getting their morning coffee. You know where the coffee stand is.
Yeah.
And everything. And you spot him, and the moment you walk up, and you're like, "Hey, Steve," he's like, "Oh, great, it's you."
No, don't be like that. I mean, yeah, sure, I need another favor, but
that's how everyone reacts when they.
I was going to say, to be fair, everybody who interacts with Kit thinks the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, great, it's you.
my next contact, I'll have to make sure it has an undying love for Kit. Missed that this time.
Steve Johnson does not have this undying love, and he starts to head back into the office, and but doesn't, you're tenacious. You follow right after him the whole way, and he's like, "Well, I hope it's not much of a favor. The last one was quite a bit more of a favor than I should have given you in the first place.
Oh, look, no one got hurt. No one got in trouble. That's.
You don't know that.
Just,
I
haven't
think
gotten in
I think I
trouble
know
yet. You haven't told anybody.
I wouldn't tell anybody, Steve. You're my friend.
He says, I haven't seen you since then. It's been 18 months.
Well, look,
He's counting.
maybe there's this undying love between us.
There is a secret love.
Secret.
Well, you know how it is, Steve. I just don't get to come around all that often. I was out of the country for a little while, but I'm back now. And I feel like we've got a good rapport. We got a good working relationship here. Surely those, cigars I sent you were up to par?
Scarves?
Cigars.
Cigars.
Are you spending another fate point?
Okay.
All right. So he's like, all right, come on. And he gets you into his office. And he's like, okay, what can I do for you?
Well, I won't go into the details because I know how you hate that. But I need to know everything there is to know about this graveyard. Any of the past construction projects that have gone on, any buildings that, the groundskeepers or homeless could be staying in. Just that sort of information. City supplies or resources that have been diverted there, electricity, power.
So he has you wait in the office while he goes and grabs a bunch of he goes to the filing area to get what sort of layouts, and he comes back and he spreads them all out, and he looks at you for a second. He like pauses, his hands are still and stuff. It's like, you're not grave robbing, are you?
No.
That took
Not this time.
He had the pause to remember whether or not he was. He's like,
the pause was trying to remember what Steve knows of Kit's world traveling adventures and how those may or may not be construed as grave robbing.
Is it grave robbing or archaeology? How long does it take before it's one or the other?
Well, Kit's never put anything in a museum.
So you look over there, and actually sort of Steve himself, as you guys are looking over the information, he's pointing things out and explaining things. He's a little impressed that actually a lot of permits have been filed, and there's been a lot of construction in the last 15 years or so sort of going on here, and it looked like a lot going in, more than the upper story buildings would really reflect. A lot of materials and things in clearance, and so he starts to get intrigued and is like, maybe there's something he's trying to figure out what it is that you're trying to figure out, but you get a lot of information from him.
And these permits come with blueprints, right?
Yeah.
I can get copies of those.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Steve.
All right, and so then you go to sort of like, and you compare satellite imagery of the cemetery and everything else. And so give me a burglary roll, and you get +2 for having these blueprints. And
and I've got, let's see. That's going to be a +3.
All right, so you look at the place, and you know, one of the things you notice is there's 2 different gates in and out of the main fence line area. I'm pretty sure that's true. And one. 2 main gates. There's fence line covering almost everything else. The area's got several buildings on it. There's maintenance shed. There's a main funeral home area. There's several mausoleums and other things, but those aren't full out buildings. You're able to find a decent enough vacant lot that's it's not fully vacant, but it's a good place where you can like tuck behind this pair of buildings that's just right across the street from the museum that you can tuck your car over to. And
Y'all do cemeteries in Houston like we do in New Orleans?
what do you mean?
That's a good question.
Where you don't put people in the ground because they just float back up?
Are there mausoleums in?
Yeah, it's more above ground mausoleums because and like
several of them. Yeah, that's why there's several of those.
You're in a swamp, essentially.
Yeah.
And then, but the other thing that you notice, Kit, is there's actually, as you're sort of like, you go and you look at it yourself, you notice there's, which is kind of odd for a cemetery, there's actually people at the gate, kind of guarding the gate. There's a little guard booth at each gate, and there's people that are manning it.
People?
In quotes.
Are we sure?
It's daytime.
Do we call those? Are those called familiars, or is that only in Blade?
Chattel.
Chattel. Okay.
That must be a Blade thing. I don't know anything about that. Anything else, Kit? That probably that should take you probably most all your time.
I failed to mention it earlier in this shopping for discount vampire hunting supplies without the deep knowledge. Kit would have gone to a Lowe's or something like that and gotten a bundle of steaks. And he has outfitted the front of his truck with just a myriad of spikes of these. He secured these wooden spikes to the front of his car.
All right, give me an endurance roll.
Okay. That is a 5.
All right, so you power through, and you're excited about, things you're getting kind of hyped up, despite the fact that you haven't slept for over a day. Adventure is upon us. And so you're shrugging it off. You've got no trouble being ready, and you're ready to go. And I'm thinking what we'll do is we'll start off Gideon's looking into the past and future in the next session, and then move from there.
Cool.
Does Sela knock over the jewelry store or wealthy philanthropist that she knows isn't home and steal a thing?
Give me a burglary check.
It's really important to her. That is a 6.
A 6?
Yep.
Okay, yeah, you're able to knock over a jewelry store, and you're actually able to do it in a decent enough time that you can still get at least 6 or more hours of sleep.
Wonderful. Better than I get normally.
So you're doing just fine.
Aren't you on your own business now? Shouldn't you be sleeping better than that?
No, I own my own business. That means I never sleep.
That's how that works.
Fair enough.
All right, and so we'll start off the next session. Gideon will look into this object that he just found, and then look into the future. And y'all can enact your plan to save Kaitlyn.
I got us a wooden knife, guys.
Much better than the discount wooden stakes from Lowe's.
That seems super useful, I'm going to say.
It's apparently super useful, but I don't know how to use it.
As someone who routinely practices martial arts with wooden knives, I'm going to say not the most deadly thing you could have grabbed, but not the most useless thing either.
It was specifically for Black Court. I did what I could, all right?
And you're wrong. I'm just saying.
Hey, I saw random factoid of the day of some wood out of.
It's mahogany.
No, there's a
Wes Craven in there.
particular wood that's like super dense and super hard that people actually make knives out of.
Bodark. Ironwood. Yeah.
Yeah. Of course, you gotta wear the gloves from the oils.
Yeah, Bodark. But no, this is mahogany, obviously, because it's vampires.
Of course. I don't know what that means, but
You have to watch Wes Craven's vampires, where they're like out in West Texas and you get them out with a winch.
Oh man, that movie.
It's terrible.
It's so bad that
It's
my friends got really mad at me and another friend of mine because we sat there the whole time and just tore it apart.
Yeah, I mean,
Like MST T3K style. It was
that's the only way to watch it. It's real bad, but
easily one of the best nights I ever had.
yeah, exactly.
But still, yeah, it's ridiculous.
Mahogany.